Hello everyone, and welcome back to the homestead. It is evening time. I just got back from work. I want to talk to everyone a little bit about pigs this year. And if you're thinking about getting pigs for the first time, some things you should know. Let's see if the chickens are all cooped up. Cooped up. Ducks, what are you doing out? Go ahead in. Go ahead. Any eggs in here? Ooh, still warm. It's really cold out. Temperature's dropping fast. I'm gonna take a walk down to where we're doing the logging, clearing for the new pastures. And we'll talk about some stuff on the way. You can see that we're pretty much in the dead of winter here, and there's no pigs on the farm. We don't raise pigs in the winter. I talked about that in this video up here that I'll link. And part of that reason is because we don't want to deal with the stresses that come with raising the pigs in the winter. You know, they're all outlined in that video. But another thing is that there's plenty to do with pigs in the winter. It's January now, and there's stuff that we could be doing that is going to get us ready for success in the spring with our pigs. So with that in mind, I just want to give you guys a few tips that if you're thinking about raising pigs this spring into this summer for the first time, or even if you're a little bit of a seasoned veteran, these are things you could be doing right now to get ready. Whew! Future pasture is looking pretty awesome. Once we have this seeded and up and going, it's going to be a great expansion for us to be able to use our farm more to its, full capabilities instead of being kind of shut in by the woods. This first thing about what you can do to be raising pigs kind of goes without saying. But if you don't already have your piglets lined up for spring, which you should, if you don't already have them lined up, get them lined up. With COVID, we've seen a whole lot more people raising animals at home, and that's led to shortages of affordably priced piglets or shortages of just piglets in general. A lot of them are actually pretty unreasonably priced. So if you don't have your pigs lined up already, you should do that. If you do have your pigs lined up, congrats, you're one step ahead of the game. The next thing you should be doing is planning out where you're going to have the pigs, getting your fencing materials ready for those pigs. If you don't have an electric fence charger already, you should be getting one of those. If you do have an electric fence charger, you should be going through, and while there's, no leaves on the trees, cleaning out the area. If you're running them through trees, cleaning out that area, getting the lines for your fences all set up. If you're running them in a regular pasture area or grassy area, maybe your ground hasn't frozen yet. If you could even hammer some of those T-posts in, you want to get everything set up so that your training pen, which is a 16 by 16 or however big you want to make it, but your hard barrier area that you're going to be using hog panels for, you want to make sure that's going to be ready to go, or at least ready to go quickly when you're going to be getting the pigs, and that your electric fence setup is going to be up and operational as soon as you get the piglets too. You don't want to mess around with pigs busting out. You don't want to mess around with trying to rush to get your fence set up. You want to have that dialed in. So all the equipment they're going to be using is on site now. We've got the feller buncher right there that's been clearing out the landing. Got the grapple skidder right here that's going to be used to move logs around. You got your delimber right there. Logs get pulled through there and it strips off the outer limbs. And then you've got the slasher right over here, which essentially cuts your logs to length. All right, it's cold. I'm gonna start headed back up toward the house. My hands are freezing. I made the mistake of not grabbing the gloves before I came down here. Another thing you could be doing right now, if you're bringing in pigs this year, is making sure your feeder and water situation is squared away. When they start out as young little piglets, using a bowl is just fine, like one of those 3-gallon rubber tubs from like a farm store. But as they start getting bigger, especially if you're doing multiples, you're going to want a better feed trough setup. So at least be planning on what you want to build, or what you want to buy. Same thing with water. If you go back and you look at my 5 things you should have to be ready for pigs, or 5 things you need to raise backyard pigs, I talk about the water there. Plan on that now. If you're going to use a barrel with nipples, find a barrel, get the nipples you need. That's not a hard thing to do. If you have a garage, you can even build that now in your garage and have it ready to go. Again, kind of talking about the fence situation. The last thing you want to do is have the pigs coming and be struggling to get things ready. You don't want that kind of pressure in your life. It's kind of a nice sunset going on behind me. The biggest thing you can do right now is I would go back and I would watch that video where I talk about 5 things you need to raise pigs in the backyard. And I would do as much planning around those 5 things as you can at this point in time. Obviously, you know, you don't have the pigs in hand. You're not having them on your property. If you live in the Northeast or cold climates, your ground is frozen. You can't be hammering T-posts in, but you can go to the farm store and you can get your T-posts. You can plan out your shelter for how you're going to give those pigs some shade. You can do all sorts of things that don't necessarily involve having the pigs on hand, but getting ready for the pigs. Because ideally, when the pigs show up, you want to be able to put them in their enclosure, give them some food, give them some water, and start rocking right away. One thing to consider is possibly starting to get like a pig first aid kit together and reach out to some people that you know that have raised pigs before as kind of a pig mentor. You know, the first couple weeks that you have your piglets, let's see if I can get the motion light to kick on again so you guys can see me. No motion? There we go. The first couple weeks that you have those piglets on the farm, those are going to be the most critical weeks in terms of if anything goes wrong, if they get sick, if they have diarrhea, if they get pneumonia. Young piglets tend to be the most vulnerable. So if you can have some LA200 or an antibiotic of your choice on hand, have some syringes if you need to give a shot, you know, talk to somebody that you know that has raised pigs and say, hey, would you be willing to kind of be a consult on this stuff? If you have a livestock vet in your area that you want to work with, talk to them as well and see if they'll just kind of, you know, be able to be available. It's too cold. My hands are freezing. I got to go inside. It feels a lot colder than 13 degrees outside. My hands are absolutely frozen. All right, last thing I kind of feel like I should mention, and it's kind of a biggie. If you are not processing your pigs yourself, well, 2 things. If you are processing your pigs yourself, get your processing equipment now. Order it early, make sure you have it. Come processing time next fall, there's going to be a lot of people looking for grinders. They're going to be looking for sausage stuffers. That sort of thing can be in short supply. People are going to be buying it for the holidays as gifts. So find your sausage stuffer. You know, do it now. Get it early, order it early. If it's going to be back ordered, make sure you have it. If you're paying somebody else to process your animals for you, make sure you're booked. Honestly, if you're looking right now, you're probably already too late and your butchers are going to be booked up. I know the person we use is already booked for the entire month of November. They have no available dates. We took their entire last week of processing in the second week of November, and we booked that before we'd even dropped our pigs off this year at the beginning of this past November. So we were more than a year out, and he only had 1 week availability left for us. And we took that all. We blocked that all out. It is cold. It is tough to be thinking about pigs. You know, it seems like, oh, that's so far off. Spring's a long ways away, but we're tail end of January right now. You've got February, March, and our pigs show up mid-April. So we've really only got 2.5 months to get ready, get things planned out, and kind of get our butts in gear ready for pigs. If you haven't already seen it, I'll link that video for 5 things you need to raise backyard pigs. I'll link it down in the description. You can go check that out. We also have a playlist called Forest Pastured Pork, which I'll link in the description and maybe put up in the corner here now, where you can check out all of our videos on raising pigs and some of the info that we've gained over the relatively few years compared to some others that we've been doing it. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.